Come in. Ah, there you are. I'm glad you could get here so quickly. Please, take a seat. Oh, and close the door behind you. Now, before we start with the formalities, how are you doing? Of course I want to know. Why would you think that I didn't want to know? Listen, you're not in trouble or anything of the sort, so please, relax. The last thing I want you to be is tense around me. And that goes for all of my employees. I just wanted to see how you're holding up, how the transition into the company has been, if you felt welcome. That's all. It's not long since you got hired after all. But I can see that your coworkers have already affected you. That really doesn't surprise me. Well, then let me answer that question with a question. Are you intimidated by me? I'll take your lack of response as a yes. This happens every time a new coworker walks through those doors. They've painted me to be the bad guy in the picture, haven't they? Thought as much. Some of my employees have a tendency to do that when a new person joins our team. As much as I wish that wasn't the case, there's not much I can do about it. But let me ask you a question. Were you intimidated by me during the interview? Not really. Well, that's a relief at least. Tell me, what is it that the other employees have said about me? Hey, look at me. You're not in trouble. Nor are any of the others. I just want to know what they say about me, so I can improve. Improve my relations with all my employees. I might come off as intimidating and demanding for some, but that couldn't be further from the case. I want everyone in the company to feel safe, even around me. Since I don't want things like this to happen, to have my employees shutting down, like you're doing right now. There's no need to apologize. I just want you to be honest with me. Will you tell me what you've been told? Okay. What else? Okay, that one I can understand. I'm aware that I'm demanding a lot of my employees, but I'm not doing it without a reason. Well, let me explain. I'm sure you already know this, but I didn't build this company from the ground. That's right. I took over the company after my father. For the older generation that still works in the company, they'll most likely remember him being very strict and demanding. I should know. He acted like that with me when I grew up. He had a saying that to this day I still try to live by. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. By having this in mind, I want my employees to consistently make results. No matter how big or small the task may be. I want my employees to give it their all. In everything they do, I want their best. Because our customers will see if we've messed up. And I don't want to let my father's legacy go down the drain. So, that's why I try to keep the same mentality as my father. However, that does not mean I want my employees to feel intimidated by me. The last thing I want is to have a bunch of yes-mens around me. I want everyone to tell the truth, even if it would cost them their jobs. Because that means they're putting everything at risk to make sure that the company becomes better. I hope all of this makes sense to you. I'm glad to hear. But, please, when it's just the two of us, call me Ethan. I don't see the point in being too formal when it's just you and me. Okay? Good. And thank you for being upfront with me about the things that others have told you. I'm going to make sure to improve on the things that they've told you. I want this to be a safe place for people to work, where they can develop their skills and be a part of something bigger. Which reminds me, I'm sure you're wondering why I even asked you to come to my office in the first place. Yeah, I didn't intend to have this conversation when you first walked in, but it happens, I guess. Now, the reason why I wanted to speak with you was because I've heard a lot of good things about you, since you started here at least. Indeed, several of my advisors have noticed how you work, and that you've been able to show results in the short time that you've been working here. Not only that, but you show that you care a lot for the others that you work with, helping out whenever you can, always lending an ear for those who need someone to listen. That's good qualities to me. Tells me a lot about you. Although, I'm sure there's more about you than meets the eye. Exactly. And that's why I want to give you a proposition. What do you say to becoming my personal assistant, working directly under me? Yes, I'm being serious. You've shown that you're capable of doing multiple tasks at once, and that you're a team player. That's very much what I want in an assistant of mine. Recently, my assistant had to quit because she got offered a new job closer to home, which is totally understandable. As much as I wanted her to stay, I cannot force her to do so. You can say that it's a bittersweet feeling. But enough about that. What do you say? Do you want to become my new assistant and work directly for me? Excellent. I'm glad you'd like to take the challenge. Now, not to get right into it, but I want you to read this by tomorrow. The projects that you'll be working on will be given to someone else. So, you'll get the time you need to prepare yourself for tomorrow. I'm fully aware that this is a lot of paper to read through. It's a report I asked my latest assistant to write, so that you'll know the different tasks she used to do and what she was working on. I'll make sure that you get access to the files and projects she was working on. Don't tell me that you've already gotten cold feet. Great. I didn't expect anything less from you. Now, you better get started on those, and I'll see you first thing in the morning. I'm gonna run through some things with you and the projects that I'm working on. I expect that we'll get the chance to spend a lot of time together. Although, I'm sure you wouldn't mind that, now would you? Sorry, I couldn't resist. But please, just let me know if there's anything I should be aware of. Like what? Well, to start off with, if there's any allergies or anything that I should be aware of, please let me know. We'll have to eat lunch together quite often. Normally, it has been my treat. Oh, don't be silly. I'm not going to treat you differently from what I used to treat my latest assistant. It's the least I can do. Now, run along. If you have any questions about the things that she wrote down, make a note of it and we can look over it together tomorrow. Okay? Great. See you in the morning, I guess. Goodbye.